everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is Thursday, which means it's BookList Thursday. This is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of thoughts, ideas, opinions, recommendations, something bookish related. So today's subject is focusing on the nosy neighbor. So in each of these books, we have some sort of element where a neighbor plays a part in either what is happening, what has happened, they're a character in it, all of that plays a part. This idea that someone next door might either know what's going on or suspicious of what's going on, or maybe the main character is the nosy neighbor. So I got this idea because I just read this book. Ooh, I'm gonna tip everything over. House Across the Lake, which I talked about not that long ago on my channel. But our character Casey in here, definitely a nosy neighbor, like to the extreme. Oh, maybe not extreme, but I mean, she has binoculars that she does not look at birds with. So that's where the idea came from. But I have 5 more books that have a bit of an element of a nosy neighbor. I knew that was gonna happen. Oh well. So first one I want to talk about, 2 of them I actually got on NetGalley not that long ago. So The New Neighbor by Karen Cleveland. We have our main character, Beth Bradford. She is a CIA analyst and specializes in gathering information and tracking this Iranian intelligence agent known as the Neighbor. She has been assigned to this case for years and intimately knows things about this agent called the Neighbor, but doesn't necessarily know who it is. Still trying to figure that out. She seems to kind of have everything together. She's a newly empty nester, and they move out of their big family home where they raise their family on a cul-de-sac, kind of like that perfect neighborhood vibe. They move out of that into like a smaller condo, smaller house. And when they do that, so they have no more kids at home. Her kids have grown, and now she's realizing her marriage is a little shaky, not quite as strong as maybe it used to be. And then she finds out at work, the CIA is taking her off of this case. They think that she's a little too close. She's not getting anywhere with it. This is all happening at the same time. So some major life events major life-changing events are occurring. And she finds herself still connected to the neighbors that she was living by. And so she would visit them, run into them. And so she starts to learn about who has moved into her house. And there's some connections that she's making between the new neighbor living in her old house, you know, the new person, and the neighbor, the operative that she's been tracking for years. And she spirals a little bit. But is it because of what she's going through? Is it really there? What is it? You don't know. But thoroughly enjoyed that. Definitely creepy spy neighbor vibes on that one for sure. Then we have What the Neighbors Saw by Melissa Edelman. Also one I got off of NetGalley. Did I listen to this book? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. So this one follows Alexis and Sam. They're a newer couple, I shouldn't say newer, they have 1 child and then 1 child on the way. They decide to move out of basically downtown DC to a suburb that actually is right on the Potomac River. Really nice walking path, really great neighborhood. They buy a bit of a fixer-upper house to kind of go forth with the next phase of their relationship and their family. So they get kind of a lemon of a house. They have to do a lot of work to this house, and they Alexis kind of falls into this trap of like keeping up with the neighbors, like thinking she has to tackle all of the things in the house right away in order to just like gain friendship, respect, something with the neighbors. She does become friends with the ones that live next door. And tragically, the husband, Teddy, is found murdered on this path that's along the Potomac. And so then it goes into, what did we just move into? We don't even know these people. And there's some pretty suspicious things that are occurring in the neighborhood. to like, you know, throw up some red flags for sure. So that's what The Neighbors Saw by Melissa Adelman. Then I'm going a little bit different direction. We're going to go with the House on the Cillian Sea by TJ Klune, which I don't know where my copy is. I think I borrowed it to my aunt. So this one follows our main character. I can't think of his name. I just had it. Anyways, he is working for the Office of Magical Children, basically. So they're keeping an eye on them. And he is assigned to go and do like a site visit at this orphanage that is on the Cillian Sea that houses very, very special magical children. And by special, I mean like we have the son of the devil. We have a very sassy gnome. We have a variety of kids that maybe have some extra risk involved, apparently assumed. So when he gets there, he realizes the village that's right next to this house, very nosy, needs to know what's going on, is very worried. It's more of a like, they don't know, they don't understand, so they're going to be not as accepting. So more of a that type of a nosy neighbor in this one. The House on the Cillian Sea is like a hug in a book. It is not normally a book I would gravitate towards, yet I will read anything and everything by TJ Klune. The writing's fantastic. The characters are fantastic. Chauncey will always and forever be in my heart. It's so good, and it really looks at, you know, the label that is placed on someone is not necessarily, doesn't define exactly everything of who they are. I know they came out choppy, but I think you get what I mean. Next one I want to talk about is I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. And so this is her newest book that came out. Ruta Sepetys is one of those authors that has the ability to completely transport you into a story. And the story is so full of facts. And based on the research that she did, you can't help but wonder if these characters are real, which they're not. So this one takes place in Romania in the 80s, during a time where a dictator was really, really, really doing some horrible things. So the Romanian people were living in a bit of a communist state and not seeing any benefits whatsoever. And the rewards for the people who would turn in anybody who was not following the rules to the T were so great that you couldn't trust anyone. You couldn't trust your neighbors, let alone the people who lived in the house with you. Everyone was getting, you were basically forced by the police to confess what you knew about neighbors or face some dire consequences. Whether what you told them was true or not. Fantastic book. Again, Ruta Sepetys can do no wrong, in my opinion. I've also met her a few times. She's a fantastic author to go and see. Absolutely love that book. I did not realize what was going on, and during a time period when I was in school. I love learning about history like that. And then the last one I want to talk about with the nosy neighbor theme is Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. Now, Nicholas Sparks and I no longer have a relationship. I used to read his books all the time, and just lately they haven't been quite hitting the bar with me, yet Safe Haven will always and forever live above that bar, and I will always and forever suggest Safe Haven to anybody. I absolutely adore that book. So this follows Katie, and Katie's kind of on the run. She ends up finding herself in a small town in North Carolina. We know that she has a past that she's trying to get away from, and she's just trying to keep a low profile. So she finds a place to rent while in North Carolina and meets the neighbor there, Joe, who kind of inserts herself into Katie's life a little bit. I mean, she's a fun person to hang out with, yet always seems to kind of show up and be there for Katie, and ends up being exactly what Katie needs. Katie also meets Alex, who owns, I believe, like the local general store, convenience store, whatever. where Katie has to go, obviously, to get groceries and get supplies and such. So she meets Alex, and they hit it off. They just have some sort of connection. And so it follows Katie's battle with, how much do I go outside of this comfort zone? Because she's really just trying to hide and get away from her past and keep as low of a profile as can be. Yet she feels this pull towards Alex. And then, of course, the nosy neighbor aspect of it is Joe. And if you've read the book, you understand why I'm putting this into this category. But Joe's also a character that you grow to love. But yeah, if you're not a Nicholas Sparks fan and you haven't read Safe Haven, I would really highly suggest you just give it a shot, because I think it's very different from the majority of his other books. So there's my plug. Anyways, those were my 5 nosy neighbor books. I know there's a ton more out there. There's A Woman in the Window. There's a bunch. I liked this variety of books, probably ones that you haven't quite heard of, that you might want to give a shot to. If you have good nosy neighbor recommendations, leave them below. Otherwise, head over to Sarah's channel, see what she has for us this week, and like, subscribe, and hit the bell for reminders. You know the stuff. And I will see you next time. Bye.